Okay. A very good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Poonam Kaushal, extend a warm welcome to each one present here. Today, we are here for an expert talk on psychological contact for human development and organizational sustainability. I hope students will learn and imbibe something from this. Without any further ado, I invite our respectable Dean, Dr. Anand sir, to welcome our honorable guests. Dean sir, over to you.
Yeah, greetings to all. The respected faculty member, Dr. Poonam Kaushal, and also today's guest speaker, Dr. Annie Arnav, the Jain University, the senior professor, and all my dear students. So really, we are so fortunate to have today Dr. Annie Arnavji. So I had a 1-year association with him. I observed that he is very passionate towards teaching. So he is always, talking about teaching, research, and he had very good exposure with the national, international certifications. So I believe that today's session would be a great knowledge sharing experience. So we'll definitely empower your knowledge through Dr. Annie Arnavji. The subject itself, the psychology is not a very tough subject. So I believe that today Dr. Annie Arnav will give you a lot of exposure to this topic he has chosen. So I wish you all the best. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, sir. I think you have made my day. It is a good beginning. Ma'am, have you given the sharing access?
Akhilesh sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it is given. It is given, ma'am. Is the slide visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So very good evening to all the faculty members, respected dean sir, faculty members, and my dear students. Whether you are in Bangalore, South India, or North India, or whichever part of the world, so we engage with all the students. Student community is one for us, and I'm happy and delighted to give a talk today on psychological contract for human development and our nation's sustainability. I think somewhere I feel it is the need of the hour, because we have been talking about sustainability in each and everything when we talk about the business aspects of it. And last 1.5 years, I think we have witnessed tremendous changes, and the psychological contract is something which has taken a higher benefit, or probably it has made people realize that how important it is in any organization. So I thought that probably let me take this particular topic, and this topic is something which is not new to me, because I have been doing some kind of research in this, and even I have published around 4 to 5, I think 5 papers, research papers I have published on this psychological contract so far. Even though I'm specialized in organization behavior and deal with the HR domain, somewhere I look at the psychology part as very close to my heart, and it fascinates, or probably it creates some kind of interest in me to pursue more and more knowledge in that particular domain. As HR students, I think probably you would have heard about what is psychological contract in the beginning of your the program in the first semester or second semester, when you have studied HR or organization behavior. Or else probably sometimes it may miss out from the syllabus, but psychological contract is a part of human resource management, or I would say that it is very critical for understanding the organization behavior perspectives. And when we talk about psychological contract, what exactly is psychological contract? I haven't heard about it. Psychology, I know about it, but what about in a contract? So people might think that probably it might be like one more contract, an agreement, or something which we put it in the business law concept. Of course, somewhere it has slight similarity between that, but I cannot tell that it is completely into law or completely into a formal contract and or an agreement. So the reason is very simple, because psychological contract is something which is unofficial assumption or unofficial understanding about, the kind of expectations what the employer has or what the employee has when they join any organization. That is, in the employer perspective and in the employee perspective, it is a mutual agreement orally, or probably it is like, as an employer, I know that, I need these benefits or these services or these kind of expectations to be fulfilled by my employee, and employee also thinks that this is my employer and I am here to fulfill my expectations from this employer to an extent which can enhance my career as well as my job satisfaction. So this psychological contract was, something which was of a discussion, or probably it originated in the 1960s, and it was later developed by American academic, that is Denis Rousseau. It describes the understandings or the beliefs and commitments that exist between an employee and employer. I think by this time, you people have a fair idea about what exactly is psychological contract. Yes. And somewhere, people have the confusion between what is, psychological contract and what is psychological capital. It is very simple. When we talk about psychological capital, we are dealing with the individual's positive psychological state of development and is characterized by having self-efficacy or the optimism or the hope. Now, we tend to have several questions about how do we deal with. There is one more concept when we talk about the psychological contract in organizations, that is organizational citizenship behavior. Yes. So this is also not, many people are familiar. Since, you people are HR professionals or the management professionals, it gives an idea for you about understanding what do you expect from an employee, yes, in an organization. So when I see organizational citizenship behavior, it facilitates the organizational functioning, yes, that is being helpful, yes, that is altruism, or probably we talk about the courtesy, that is you try to being, polite and courteous, and somewhere we talk about the conscientiousness, that is attention to detail, that is, we try to give importance to even small things in the organization. We try to look at understanding each and every aspect of the problem so that we can give or find out the appropriate solution in a given situation with the available resources or the limited resources. And we also see that what is that scope where we can try to go ahead and try to cover it. We also talk about the civic virtue when we talk about organization citizenship behavior, that is the kind of interest and the kind of involvement what we have in that. And sportsmanship, that is you try to look at tolerating and accepting of changes. Sometimes changes are evident, and sometimes it is unavoidable, and you being part of the organization, you have to witness the changes. Whenever there is some kind of change, definitely organization has to change. One cannot say that organization will sustain like that without any kind of changes or without any kind of organizational developmental interventions. So OD interventions are required, and it is required in order to sustain the organization, sustain the business for a longer time. That is, we talk about the short term as well as the long term benefits as well as the goals. Yes. So we have to understand in this perspective the psychological contract, how it is going to help the human development and the organization sustainability. When you look at this particular slide, it gives a holistic picture or probably the complete picture about how you think or how you talk about this, psychological contract. Yes. So when we look at this, you can see that it is nothing but an implicit contract between employer and employee, wherein you don't have any kind of written agreement. When we talk about, agreements between the employer and employee, of course, you will join any company. When you join any company, there are certain set of expectations which is printed in the employment letter, yes, as appointment letter or the offer letter or confirmation letter, and they will try to give whatever the conditions, terms, whatever you have to fulfill as a part of the organization, what is accepted, what is not accepted. But when we talk about the psychological contract, it is not something which is written agreement. Yes. So it is a oral agreement between employer and employee. And it covers the mutual obligations and expectations and what kind of differences are there between the employer and the employee. So now the next question happens. You people might ask, what happens if I'm not following this? When the employer has certain kind of expectations and it is not fulfilled by the employee, or when the employee has certain expectations and it is not fulfilled by the employer, there is a breach. That is, you're not following or you're not adhering to the mutual expectations or the agreement or the contract which you had between both of us. Yes, both of them. Then definitely the problem arises. And it is a common topic when we talk about the human resource management, especially when we talk about the tight labor market. And last 1.5 years, I think in another 2 years, we are going to complete 2 years after the COVID acquired entire world. Yes, and we have seen the effects of COVID-19 across the globe, across the markets, across the industries, across the sectors. To what extent it has impacted the people, impacted the lifestyle, impacted the lives, impacted the culture of the organizations, and impacted the way how we work and how we try to look at the things which are changing around us. And no one knew that these kind of changes will be witnessed, and we are going to depend too much on the technology, and somewhere it will try to look at having a lot of different kind of the repercussions of the decisions of the organizations. When you look at the Australian, yes, when we look at the Australian, the trainee apprenticeships or the traineeships, they call the GTOs or AACs. So now what do you mean by GTOs? That is group training organizations. That is National Apprentice Employment Network of Australia. And AAE talks about Australian Apprenticeship Employment Network, that is Apprenticeship Center. So these are the places where they try to look at taking care of the additional responsibilities or additional setups related to this. Now there will be a contradiction between what is employment contract and psychological contract. Yes, I think somewhere we have tried to get a feel about what this employment contract is. Okay, before I go with employment contract, can someone tell me, ma'am, do students have access to talk here?
Akhilesh sir, please give.
No, do students have access to talk here, or can I, interact with them at the end of the session?
So as per your wish, what you want.
Okay, you can just, give them the chat. It's okay, ma'am, because I think I will just, finish what I have to say. And probably you can give them the chat option so that I can see the responses.
Okay, Akhilesh sir, please provide students access of chat box so that they can chat about their query. Akhilesh sir.
Yes, ma'am. We have already given the permission.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
The
Thank
students,
so
you
much
people
for-
can ask question in chat box.
Okay, great. So I'm, asking the students what all is included, in the employment contract? Because I think I had just given a gist of it. Now, can someone elaborate on it? If you can, post it in the chat box, I'll be very happy to see your response. Okay, I have work in time. Very good. So Priyank says that work in time. Very good. Can I have other students responding to this task? Duties of employee. Brilliant. Then Ujjwal says duties of employee. Tenure of contract. Good. So we are talking about what is included in the employment contract. Very good. Ambuj says management. Then Ujjwal again says remuneration. Okay, so very much concerned about the money part. Who is not? Everyone is worried about money, right? Good. Then, okay, not a problem. As and when I progress towards the completion of the session, I think I have few questions. Probably you can also ask some questions. Okay, many questions, many responses. I'm overwhelmed with the response from the students. Shama says healthy work environment, and wonderful. That is very critical at the current situation. Sonali says working environment and conditions. Biovope says targets. Okay, he comes to that production manager. I think definitely he will become the productivity related manager or the leader. Yes, or production oriented leader, target. Yes, then Ambuj, sincereness. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for that response. Yes, so you have a fair idea about what is included in the employment contract. And of course, you can see the difference between what is employment contract and what is psychological contract. I think by this time, we have already seen that the kind of differences we have. And Biovope says target is for what we are employed. Very good. Because you need to know why you have been hired, what is your role, and what is that set of expectations in terms of target the employer is looking at, in terms of employee to achieve. Now, when we look at the difference between the employment contract and this, psychological contract, you can see that employment is written, explicit, that is, you are legally bound. If something which is not achieved, probably everything can go legally, and probably some kind of actions can be taken. For example, the employee is not performing. They will try to warn initially. They will talk to the employee and try to find out what exactly has happened. They will try to support the employee. Even after that, if he is not, or she is not improving, they will put them in certain training programs. Even if it is not working, what happens? They will be given time. So something which we call it as a pink slip in some of the organization, where they just stick it to your table, then you have to leave. Or in some organizations, especially in multinational companies, we have the concept of performance improvement plan, that is PIP. So the employee who is not performing will be put on that particular time period. It might be 1 month, or it might be 2 or 3 months time. If the employee is not working properly, then he has to leave. Yes, and sometimes if the employee is not performing to the required level, or is violating the conduct, is violating the rules and regulations, terms and conditions, which is communicated through the employment contract, then what happens? Legally, the employer can take action, and if something is not provided by the employer as per the agreement, then the employee can sue the company. So we can see that when we look at employment contract, it will not give each and every task what you have to do. It will give a overview or general guideline about, these are the things which you have to look at it. These are the things which you have to work on it. So you can see that sometimes it may influence, it can have a small influence on the behavior. It may not have the major benefits. On the contrary, when you look at the psychological contract, yes, you can see it is unwritten, implicit, no legal status, and it also talks about actually what you do at work and what is that employer is expecting, what is that you are providing that to the employer. And it also exerts a large influence on behavior or the feelings and the attitudes. So it is very clear here that we should know how this employment contract and psychological contract influence the behavior of the employees in the organization, and how it will reflect in the performance, how the overall employees performance reflects in the organizational performance and lead to the organizational effectiveness. That is, we are talking about the overall development of the organization. Yes, see, these are something which is not written, but its influence on the people is so high, its influence on the organization is so high. Any company or any employer has to definitely look at understanding the critical part of dealing with this psychological contract. If the employer, if the leaders, if the managers understand the importance of psychological contract, then they know the trick of making people work. They know how to retain the employees in the organization, which can reduce the attrition, which can reduce the absenteeism, which can look at productivity in the organization, which can also look at saving a lot of money, which is invested on the training and developmental aspects of the employee developmental programs. Look at it. You try to understand these things very carefully, and you try to involve yourself in implementing the different aspects of molding or binding the psychological contractual aspects in the employees, and you try to nourish it, you try to motivate them to build it, make it very strong. You can see that the employees will be an asset for the company. I will give some of the examples related to that, how critical it is and how important it is. I was going through some of the recent research articles which have been, appearing, or probably the survey has been conducted after this, Corona. They have some kind of, changes, some kind of, observations, which is very critical and which is very alarming also. Yeah. I was going through Harvard Business Review, and that is nothing but in the month of July 2021. That is last month. Yes, prior to that. Today is September 1st, right? So I see that a survey which was conducted by Jane Dutton, University of Michigan, they found that 58% of people say they would absolutely look for new job if they weren't allowed to continue working remotely in their current place. And that too, this response has been, inferred by 2000 respondents. And just imagine, out of these 2000 respondents, 65% wanted to work remotely full time, that is post pandemic, and another 33% of them prefer a hybrid work arrangement. Yes. So when we look at the psychological contract, it is very delicate, and it is very delicate right now as we look at the study results. After the COVID, people are not ready to work in organizations. Yes, some way they are scared, they are bothered about so many other things. And there is one more reason: they have been at home, they have been living with the family, and to immediately move out of that family environment to again work environment or the organization setup, it is quite difficult. And it is also proved that working from home, they are very productive than working from office. So that is also some of the recent survey findings, what we can infer from the different research articles, what we come across in the recent days. And when we look at this kind of things, somewhere we have to understand to what extent the managers or the leaders are implementing this psychological contract in the organization. Look at it. Let us try to understand, how do you deal with the different types of psychological contracts, and how the organizations can encash from the employees, or how the employees can encash from the employers if they have a mutual understanding about certain set of goals and the objectives what they have to fulfill. So when you look at this particular thing, you can see that we have first one relational, second one transactional, and third one ideological. When you look at the relational, what do you mean by relational? Okay, now let me ask question. What do you mean by relational? Can anyone tell me? You can post your message in the chat box. Tell me, what do you mean by relational contract? Any idea about relational contract? Okay, I'm eagerly waiting for the messages in the chat box. What do you understand by relational when we talk about the psychological contract? I think the word itself says something. You have to infer the meaning out of it. It is very clear to understand as well. Okay, Lavanya says a contract which is based on the relationship that you hold with the employer. Excellent. Shama says the one that depends upon how others behave and in response accordingly. Too good. And we take employee from our family friend. Okay. Priyank says that. And Alex says that a relational contract is a contract whose effect is based upon a relationship of trust between the parties to which it pertains. Too good, too good, too good. Thank you so much for that responses. Yes, exactly. So when we talk about relational contract is something which tries to bring in that bonding between the employer and the employee. How do you look at building that rapport with the employer or the employees? Yes. And when you look at building the rapport, you can see that sometimes they are too emotional. Yes, sometimes you can see that they feel that they have a strong bonding between this company, the company values, the company culture, and they don't want to leave the company. It is a form of, the social exchange. That is, you try to do something, I am trying to do something, we put together as an organization, yes, as an individual, as an organization, we are achieving together towards the fulfillment of the goals or the objectives of the organization. Yes, so you are trying to reach that vision, and this vision is very much achieved when you have that bonding, when you have that relational contract intact in the organization. That is, it allows the employer and employee relationship for a longer term. And when we look at the transaction talks about the economic or the short-term benefits. When I say transactional, the word itself is sounding so good. It talks about the transactions. I think we business students, business professionals, or the management professionals, we easily catch and understand what is this transactional. Transaction again deals with money. That is transactions. Of course, as HR student or a organization behavior student, you have to look at the transactional analysis. Yes. So you know what I'm talking about. The different, ego states, different, the adult, the parent, yes, the child related, transactions. But here we are referring to the transactions which are in the monetary form or the economic form, which is focused on the short term, guys. That is, I'm going to perform this much and employer should give this much. So it talks about the calculations, what you have between the employer and the employee. The employer is also calculating your performance and paying accordingly. The employee is also working as per the variable pay, as per the bonus which is paid, as per the increments which is happening over a period of time every year. If you're giving increment, then I will perform. If you're not giving increment, then I will not perform. If you're enhancing my salary over a period of time, then it's good. If you're not increasing or enhancing my salary, then I may not be interested in working. So this is very clear. There is the psychological contract with reference to the transactional aspects of the business or day-to-day affairs in the organization. So that is transactional psychological contract. And the third one talks about, it is very interesting, guys. When I talk about, third one, the ideological, yes, something to do with the philosophy, something to do with the kind of, moral principles or the moral set of values which I have imbibed over a period of time through different environment. It can be family environment. It can be ordination environment. It can be from the institutions, where you have studied. Through that, you would have, imbibed. And over a period of time, you see that you live with certain ideologies. It can be certain principles, or it can be sometimes a combination of relational and transactional. Can someone tell me or identify the leaders who are ideological leaders, and they have set an example with reference to the ideological psychological contract in practice? Can you give me some examples, my dear students? So I'm looking at chat box again. So my eyes are searching for your messages in the chat box. You can give the examples of the leaders who have set an example with this ideological value system or ideological psychological aspects of it. Okay, I have a response from Shama, says, like people who work in NGO, healthcare centers, old age homes, work there entirely because of ideological contracts. Very good. Yes. Can we have some business leaders? Martin Luther King. Okay, Lavanya says Martin Luther King. Can we have some business examples, business leaders in India? I think there are plenty of leaders in India. Yes, Ratan Tata we have. Very good. We have religious leaders. So we can see that they are practicing that spiritual leadership with entrepreneurial skills. Very good. That's how we can see that how they have been bonding with different products like Patanjali, yeah, or probably the Ayurveda Sri from Art of Living. Okay, many more examples. I think plenty of personalities when you look at weighing the pros and cons with ideological psychological contract. Ravi Shankar. Okay, good. Good. Thank you so much for that. So those were very good responses quickly. That means that somewhere you're relating yourself with the topic. I'm very happy with that. So we have to look at understanding which kind of contract the employees are dealing with. Is it relational? Is it transactional? Or is it ideological in nature? This is how it looks. What is the deal? What is the deal between the two? Yes, the good employer, when you have the good employer who follows or implements all those small, minute things which is related to the psychological contract, you can see the high quality of workplaces, created by the employer. And what happens with this deal? Satisfied and productive worker. When the employer knows that how to understand the psychological aspects of the employee and try to bind them towards the organization value system, organization culture, yes, organization goals and the vision, definitely you can see that they'll be satisfied. Now, when we look at some of the, again, I will just go back to some of the statistics related to this. Yeah. According to the Gartner's 2020 Reimagine HR Employee Survey, you can see that employers that support, or the employers who support employees with their life experience, see a 23% increase in the number of employees reporting better mental health and a 17% increase in the number of employees reporting better physical health. So we can see that there is also a real benefit to employees who see a 21% increase in the number of high performance compared to the organizations that don't provide the same to support the employees. So somewhere you can see that how these things are changing. Definitely things are changing. Yes, it is not the same. And as I told you, as and when you feel that changes are required, organizations have to look at implementing it without further delay. Yes, and there are certain aspects of the psychological contract. Now, if you look at this slide, This looks very interesting for me because it captures so many aspects of how do we understand the psychological contract to deal with the employees in the organization. There are certain mediating and mediated by perceived risk factors. You can see that two things which talks about, again, we talk about the knowledge usage. We have been talking so much about the knowledge management. Each and everything is documented. Each and every process is, set up in such a way that there is no deviation from one place to the other place or one process to the other processes. When an employee leaves the company, it is very easy and it's very quick for handing over to the other employee if everything is documented properly. When I talk about knowledge usage, you can see that the employees who deal with this psychological contract, that is, who have very good intention towards the company, yes, they will try to enhance the knowledge as well as contribute the knowledge towards, increasing the effectiveness of the organization by improving the processes and looking at, refining the policies or changing the products or fine-tuning the products. They try to look at, how the business practices can be improved over a period of time. We talk about the knowledge sharing and knowledge creation. When you share the knowledge, it spreads to so many people. For example, I'm talking about a concept called psychological contract. And here, now you people know what is psychological contract. So with one Arnav, now 108 people are there in this session. So I can see around 107, including me, it is 108. So 1 into, again, 107 students or faculty, 100 people, 107 people are listening to me. Now, there's 107 people or 106 people now, one has brought. So we can see that this 106 people will go and talk about the psychological contract with another 2-3 people. Just see how you are, I am sharing the knowledge and you people are going and creating the knowledge. So I have created a set of knowledge with this session. It is documented, this is recorded, and this recorded session can be played for the students who have not attended the session. And you can see that the knowledge shared is already created, and again it is shared, again it will be created. It goes on, there's a cycle of it. Now, when we look at this particular model, you can see we talk about the safety, we talk about the opportunity, we talk about the functionality and the relationship. When you look at the Maslow's theory of motivation, you can see how the basic factors or the physiological factors or the safety factors or self-esteem factors contribute to the motivational factors of the employee, or how it creates a satisfaction among the employees. We have seen that. Yes. And somewhere we have to see that employee as an individual will look for certain safety things in terms of the job security, in terms of the kind of opportunities he is going to get it in the future, and how differently he can function in the environment. And we can also see that how the different the relationship with the different people, how he or she is building up. So we have to look at understanding what are the different aspects which can trigger or which can create, which can multiply the kind of knowledge or the kind of impression about the company or the kind of involvement by an individual or the employee with the company. That matters a lot. And we have seen why the satisfaction is very important, because we see that if the employees are satisfied, if they're happy, then you can see that our nation is happy. That's the reason you can see that so many kind of tactics or the strategies are formulated by the companies. In 2021, this year, we can consider where employees' support for mental health, financial health, and even things that were previously seen as out of bounds, like sleep. Yes, many people were thinking, oh, I'm working day and night, especially in the IT companies. I have to work in different shifts. I'm working for US shift. I'm working for UK shift. I'm working for Australian. I'm working in graveyard shift. You can see that employees didn't have sleep properly. Now, work from home option during COVID lockdown has created opportunity for them to have that mental peace. Yes, it has also created a kind of feeling for them that okay, I'm healthy now. I'm able to catch my sleep. I'm able to see that when I sleep, when I have a good sleep, I'm able to perform more. I'm healthy. I'm very active, and I can see that I have got a lot of energy. So we can see that people are giving that importance to health, mental health, as well as we can see that people are giving importance to the financial health. Yes, and we can see that these things which people thought that it is not in my control, that is sleep or relaxation or the mental health, they have been witnessing in the COVID duration or the pandemic duration with the lockdown, these kind of things which were not accessible for them very easily. And you know this will become the table stakes benefit offered to the employees as a part of this unwritten contract. And when we look at one of the survey, that is CHRO, they survey in terms of the gender wage gap. They say that it will continue. They say that own employees are showing that men are more likely to decide to return to their workplace, while women are more likely to continue to work from home. So what does it mean? New regulations are limiting employee monitoring. Now you can see IT companies, BT companies, they're allowing employees to work from home because they need not invest on the building, the infrastructure, the internet facility, the systems, the technology, yes, the housekeeping, the cafeteria people, the lighting, the internet bill, water bill, maintenance bill. Oh my God, the security, so much savings, but still you can see that people are able to work at home and perform higher than what they were trying to do here. And you can see that your cost, maintenance cost, everything is reducing. That's the reason you can see now new regulations have started up, which was not earlier. Now, what about the people? They had some kind of contract between them before joining the company, that is before COVID-19. Now, within few months after joining, they could see that something else is happening. I'm working from home. And sometimes it becomes terrible when you have to talk to your boss at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night, or early morning, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the early morning, because that has become part of your life in terms of the work from home option. There is flexibility, and this flexibility will shift from location to time. You are saving a lot of time. You're not commuting, especially when you go to busy cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, or Chennai, or Delhi, or Mumbai. The time you travel or commute to your office or organization, I think you can probably do some part-time work over there. By the time you reach, you'll be tired and you will not be able to perform. The energy would have exhausted by the time you reach your office. And where is the productivity? Because half of your energy is gone and only half of the energy is available. And you see the environment, you don't like this colleague, you don't like that boss, or probably you feel that you are not feeling well today, or some kind of deviation while commuting. So you saw some accident on the way, you saw that it was terrific traffic jam, and you have to navigate through and come like an adventurer. Look at all this janjat. Yes, you are coming out of all this struggle and you're happily sitting at home, you're having nice sleep, and you're catching your breakfast, your coffee, your lunch, your fruits, your snacks, your ice cream, and crunchy snacks, everything on time. Whenever you want, everything is accessible. And you're able to, you need not sit in one place and work. Yes, you're rolling on the bed sometimes and you're talking to the client. You're, sitting on the sofa and you're relaxing and doing something. You're on your dining table and you're attending the meeting. and you're having a cup of coffee and you're enjoying the meeting with your colleagues. Such a beautiful thing, right? So once upon a time, that is before 2 years, it was like not for all the job. It was not for all the organization. Somewhere you could see that it was only for limited people, limited processes, or the limited job. Yeah. So we can see that employees are looking at, you know, renting the talent to fill the skills gap. They're not looking at, hiring full-time employees. I think probably you people know what is gig economy. I need not explain much because being, master students, you know what is happening with the gig economy and what is happening with the people who are paid only for their service. And after that, they will vanish from that place. Yes. And when we talk about all these things, don't you think the different aspects of the psychological contact should be taken care? You look at the individual contributions here. You look at the ordination inducements. So when I talk about contributions from the individual, it can be effort from the employee. It can talk about the kind of skill sets or the ability what the employee has to perform certain functions or the skills. We are talking about the employee loyalty. Yes, we are talking about the skills which is required to perform, how well they're equipped, what are the kind, what kind of opportunities, what kind of trainings, what kind of developmental activities is initiated or are initiated by the HRD of the company. What kind of competencies? Are you looking at the personal competencies? Are you looking at the managerial competencies? Are you looking at the technical competencies which you need to develop among the employees who are available? If you're not getting the required set of employees, train them to that required level where they can fulfill the requirements of your task in the organization. So this can happen when your psychological contract is in good state. That is, it is in a good condition. We talk about the inducements from the organization, what you need to look at the kind of motivations which you can give. Of course, contributions from the individual, when they are trained, when they are developed, all these things you can see. Employee effort, ability, loyalty, skills, time, competencies, everything is increased, enhanced. Now they are in full swing, and they will perform. But on the contrary, you have to look at the kind of inducements from the organization, what you have to fulfill. It can be the pay, it can be job security, it can be benefits, it can be career opportunities, it can be status or promotion opportunities. Let me give some of the good examples, what the great business leaders around the world have done. Or probably let me look at taking one example, few examples of what we have seen in last one and a half year. There are several beautiful examples of how the companies or the leaders have tried to look at working on the psychological contract in the organization. There are certain examples. You might be asking how they are able to do it. They're able to do it like this. For example, you take Microsoft. Yes, everyone knows Microsoft. What is a company or organization? It has given almost $1,500 as COVID pandemic bonus to their employees. It comes around 1.12 lakhs. Yes, 1.12 lakh. That is not for 1 or 2 employees or 100 or 200 employees. They have paid for 1,75,000 plus employees worldwide. Can someone think why we have to pay pandemic bonus? We have seen that companies have laid off, companies have terminated the employees, companies have told that we don't have business, they have closed down, they have shut down, they have told we are not even able to pay last 6 months salary even though you have worked. We have seen all those examples. People have committed suicide, people have gone to that stage, frustration, yes, to that saturation stage. They have hanged themselves, committed suicide, and you can see that some people they have a mental health problem after these incidents. One side you can see how COVID has affected the life of the people. Yes. On the other hand, you can see that how their job or the companies where they were working has, ditched them in the minute. And when we look at this point also, I have to be very balanced here, because I cannot say that it is the problem of the companies, because companies have to look at cost cutting. Companies will survive based upon the motive of sustaining the business for a longer time if the business is surviving. If they're not able to survive, if they are not able to sustain the business, obviously they cannot pay. Yes. So that factor or those factors also we have to consider. If you look at in a Facebook, you can see 45,000 employees. They have got $1,000 each. Amazon is not, something which is, lacking there. Amazon also, yes. So they also have paid almost $300 for frontline workers. PwC India, one-time bonus for 1,500 employees. Reliance Industries, they also gave employees their entire bonus for 2020 and 21. Cognizant India, you could see they have also paid 25% of base pay as the pandemic leave. Yes. And we could also see Xiaomi gave leader hardship bonus. And when we look at India today, there is a statistics which talks about 2 crore jobs lost in May or April lockdown as per Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. That is from CMIE. Mahesh Vyas says these things. Now just imagine what are those people doing. So Samir, we have to look at understanding to what extent we are looking at leveraging the benefits. This is how you can see that how the psychological contract can be depicted. I think by this time probably I covered almost around 50 minutes time now, 45 to 50 minutes. And in this particular stipulated time, you would have understood what are the two key drivers the contract makes. That is team values and the principles, and the team leadership. That is, you have to, as a leader, lead by example when you try to look at implementing this psychological contract in a good way. Now, how do you promote the health of the contract? By fulfillment of the expectations mutually. That is, as an individual employee, you should also contribute, and you should also look at the employer perspective. They should also look at fulfilling in different roles and responsibilities, different policies, and the trust factor should be very clear here, because when employees trust you, I think they will contribute, and you should also trust in return. And there should be fairness. That is, you cannot say that I will only understand the I will only understand the mutual expectations of only certain set of employees, and I'm not bothered about others. I know I cannot go like that. So you have to be fair enough. You have to look at weighing each and everyone in a proper scale, and you should also look at the consequence of the contract. How would it lead? What would it lead to? It will lead to commitment towards the job, towards your nation, and satisfaction of the employee. And sometimes you can see that there is a discretionary effort that to what extent you are going to witness it, to what extent the employee will accept it. So we have to see, to up to some extent you can, but beyond that you cannot. So you should also have certain limitations or the boundary line which is written for that. And definitely when you promote the psychological contract, the health of psychological contract is in good terms, you can see a lot of innovative things will come up in your nation. You can see company progressing. You can see a lot of laurels to the company. The business is scaling up. You can see it is able to survive in a long term, and you can also see a lot of patents and other copyrights filed from the company. So all these things will lead to the team performance. That is, we talk about the extraordinary outcomes or the breakthrough results. So coming to the last slide of my presentation or my talk, I would say these are the benefits which are associated. Try to understand the difference between the transactional contract and the relation contract. I think we have already discussed about it. So for your quick understanding, I'm just pausing at this, slide. So when we look at the transactional contract or the relation contract, you have to look at creating it at primary focus. You should also focus on the time. You should understand the importance of the stability of relationship and scope of relationship, whether you have to go broad or you are going to narrow it down. And you have to look at defining it very well. That is, we are talking about the tangibility of terms. Yes. So when you look at the relationship, we can see that it is highly subjective. So try to understand what are the things which falls under the transactional contract, what are the things which will fall under the relational contract. So with this, I would like to conclude my, lecture or the session. And overall, in conclusion, I would say that psychological contract is something which each and every management professional should understand and try to practice it individually, as well as try to replicate in the organization for the benefit of the organization, as well as try to promote the health of the psychological contract as an individual, as an organization. Only then you can see that mutually people have agreed on certain things and you're able to look at contributing towards the overall organization development and the organization effectiveness. With this, I'll stop my session and I'm open for the queries.
Lavanya has raised her hand. Lavanya, unmute yourself.
Yes, Lavanya, you can unmute and talk. Okay, I think she has not got access, ma'am.
Okay, just Akhilesh sir. Akhilesh sir.
You can probably put it in the message so that I can answer there, not a problem. Could you please show the slide of TPC and the next slide again? I noted off of it. Okay, fine. I will share it.
Okay, anyone else
Okay, I think it
has
should
any
be clear.
question?
Meanwhile, if you have any question, you can post it in the chat box, guys. I'll be very happy to answer your question. Any question from the students?
Any questions, students?
Okay, that means that I have done my job. So
Thank
I'm
you,
all
student.
clear with my presentation.
Student has asked or interacted with you during the session.
Yes.
That may be the
That's the
reason.
reason, sometimes we need to have interaction so that
Yes.
we'll not have much of questions for the end of the session.
Yes, sir, you're right.
I thank, Dr. Anand for giving me an opportunity to come and, interact with the students. It was quite interactive. I like the students, the way they, interacted whenever I asked some questions. It was very lively for me, and I would like to thank Dr. Poonam also for coordinating with me.
Thank you, sir.
All the faculty members as well as the students for such an, interesting session with you guys.
Okay, sir. And we again, we are also thanking you. We thanks Honorable Dr. Ani Arnav, sir, respected DN, sir, and faculties, our most valued students. Again, it is my privilege to present this vote of thanks. I, Dr. Poonam Kaushal, on behalf of ICFI Business School, Dehradun, and the entire students, extend a very hearty vote of thanks for gracing your important work and sharing your words of wisdom with us. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So sweet of you. Thank you for such a wonderful,
Yeah. Sir, Ani Arul sir, many thanks. And we'll have one more session, October first week. We have UG students are,
Okay.
starting classes.
Uh-huh.
So we'll plan one more session in October, sir.
Sure, sir.
So we'll have frequent talks by you. Most
Definitely.
welcome. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you all. With this, I'm ending this session for today. Thank you.